Okay, so I'm going to take you through some of my favorite iCarly episodes. You cannot go wrong with iCarly, one of the best Nickelodeon shows on the planet. Now, I'm not going to go through all the episodes of this show because there's far too many, but I'm going to take you through some of my personal favorites from all the seasons. So, let's not waste any time and let's get into this. So, the first episode that I really enjoyed is the 5th episode from season 1, which is I Want to Stay with Spencer. That's when Carly's grandfather pays a visit, and he sees how Spencer treats Carly. Not that he treats her badly, it's just after one of his sculptures malfunctions that almost decapitated Carly with a hammer, he starts to grow concerned that Spencer is too irresponsible to be Carly's guardian and wants her to come and live with him in Yakima for her own safety. Carly tries to avoid that action, and she and her friends then decide to make her grandfather change his mind, which ultimately fails when Spencer's dinner catches on fire and almost burns down on the apartment. Spencer then realizes that he is in fact irresponsible. But when Carly is about to leave, Spencer runs upstairs and grabs her inhaler if it was ever needed, which she is not needed in several years. And soon her grandfather realizes how irresponsible Spencer is, and he finally changes his mind and lets Carly stay, promising that he will come by from time to time. Another favorite of mine is I, Neville. This is where we get to meet the main villain and antagonist of iCarly, Neville Papperman, who has it out for Carly, and it's all because of what she did in this specific episode. So, when Carly is arranged to be interviewed by this web critic who is from this website called Nevillocity. That was recommended from a girl who goes to their school. So Carly arranged to be interviewed by the young web critic, Neville Papperman, who runs the website. And at his house, during their meeting, Neville starts to repeatedly flirt with Carly, and then he steals a kiss on her cheek. And Carly retaliates angrily by smearing tapenade in his face. And that's what the feud started from there. And he promises that she will rue the day. Out of anger, Neville writes a bad review for the webcast. The gang eventually tell on Neville's mother, who punishes him by making him write an honest and positive review. Meanwhile, Spencer has been making a sculpture out of butter called Toasty the Baker for a bread convention, but has to restart it after Sam turns up the heat and accidentally melts it. Another favorite of mine is I Want a World Record. That's when Carly, Sam, and Freddie tried to break a world record for the longest continuing webcast that was currently set at 24 hours and 8 minutes. However, they still continue webcasting while being evacuated from the apartment after a gas leak in the studio, and resort to dipping their heads in ice water when they become tired during the show. Meanwhile, downstairs, Spencer builds a large sculpture full of moving parts out of all the trash stored in crates. Unfortunately, when he powers on his sculpture, the power goes out, interrupting the show for only 4 seconds before it can break the world record. Spencer inevitably sets his own record, however, because his kinetic sculpture has the most moving parts in the world. Feeling bad, he asks Carly, Sam, and Frey to attach the last part onto his sculpture, including them in the record so that they can get their picture in the book. Meanwhile, Sam's biggest dream of meeting the world's fattest priest also comes as a surprise for Sam, but he falls through the floor at the last second, and as he's rearing the corner. Another good one is I Rue the Day. This is when we get to see the second appearance of Neville Peppermint. And that'll cause trouble because soon they're going to have a very special guest on iCarly. Tom Higginson, who is the lead singer of the Plain White T's. So Tom Higginson and his band were going to appear on iCarly. This came to mind when Spencer saved Tom by knocking him out of the way when a giant menu board fell from the upstairs food court at the mall. And Spencer pushed Tom out of the way. And not only does Spencer get an autograph from Tom, but he got it on his back because he didn't have any paper. So Carly strikes a deal with Spencer, and they will perform live on iCarly. Unfortunately, the website is hacked by Neville, who tries to ruin their website in revenge for Carly, refusing to kiss him and smearing the top knot in his face. So one day, they sneak into Neville's house to hack into his server and crash his website. And then Neville's grandma walks in, who thinks Freddy hanging by a cord is a spider. They distract her by being her personal trainers, allowing them to free Freddy and escape. When they go home, Neville still wins and hacks Freddy's computer. While they try to do the webcast later, Neville blocks the signal and pretends to be Carly. But Carly has a plan up her sleeve. Her father serves in the military, and Carly has a few friends who work in the military and the Air Force. So she calls upon them, and they invade Neville's house and make him apologize. And with that all done, the Plain White T's are free to perform on iCarly. That was the first episode to have a real-life famous band on the show. I'll get into another one later on. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Ooh, I got Detention. So, Carly, Sam, and Freddy are planning on presenting iCarly's 50th web show spectacular. But Sam accidentally assaults Mr. Howard, one of the school's meanest teachers, with a football and gets detention on the same day that they were preparing to air the show. As a result, they decide to do iCarly in detention. But that would mean that Carly and Freddy would have to join detention to make it happen. So after numerous attempts, only Carly manages to get into detention. She tried everything. She tried loosening some bolts on her teacher's chair. She tried pulling the fire alarm, both of which were failed attempts. But she finally got detention from Mr. Howard after she slammed her locker. Freddy, however, didn't get detention one bit after so many attempts that would have gotten him detention. So only Carly and Sam managed to get the actual detention. while Freddy has to sneak into detention while Mr. Howard is not in the room. So he decides to film iCarly secretly, hiding in the back closet. But Mr. Howard catches them and insults Principal Franklin, calling him weak, spineless fool. But it turned out that Principal Franklin was also watching iCarly and busts Mr. Howard. Meanwhile, Spencer volunteers to collect golf balls from the pond at the golf center and trade them for art supplies. He builds a gigantic coffee cup and puts 500 gallons of coffee into it, but later drops his cell phone into it, so he dives in to get it. Later on, Carly and Sam join him to celebrate their 50th webcast. Alright, here's another one. I fence. So when Spencer takes up fencing as a new hobby, Freddy decides to join him and have some guy time after he realizes that he cannot keep hanging with the girls all the time. But when Spencer's rival, Doug Toter, sees how good Freddy is, Spencer puts Freddy up against him in a match of fencing. Meanwhile, Carly gets mad at Spencer and Freddy both for not helping her out during the visit of their weird and nerdy cousins, the Dorfmans. And his obsession with fencing has gotten in the way, so she forbids him from fencing with Freddy and takes it further by telling Mrs. Benson. Now that was a sick move. When I watch iCarly, every time I see how Mrs. Benson treats her son Freddy, I'm like, why in the freaking world does a mother like that exist? So when she finds out about this, she sends Freddy home for a tick bath when he does not even have ticks. She's just an overly protective mother, which is absolutely stupid, believe me. Carly begins to realize how much he deserves to have some guy time and tries to convince Mrs. Benson to change her mind. When Freddy asks her mother why she hates fencing so much, she tells a story about her grandfather, who led a circus troupe called the Fence and Bensons, and forced her obsession of fencing on her entire family, including her. She wanted to avoid Freddy having the same fate. During the match, Freddy does great and takes on 2 rounds. But during the last round, Toter cheats and pushes Freddy to the ground with his elbow, causing an enraged Mrs. Benson to aggressively showcase her own talent for fencing. And she fends off Toter and his 2 sidekicks, giving Freddy the victory. Meanwhile, Sam and Freddy have a bet to see if Sam can read a book for her school assignment. Sam gets interest in books for the first time and finishes the book on her own, winning the bet. She then forces Freddy to pay up by putting a running water hose down his pants to make him look like he wet himself. Alright, and now we're going to get into Season 2. Okay, let's see what we have here. Alright, we'll start with I Hurt Lubert. When Carly's doorman Lubert, who is the meanest, sassiest doorman to ever exist, he ends up getting injured during a messin' with Lubert sketch. So they do this prank on Lubert involving a muffin basket that had a confetti cannon in it. But when they press the button to make the confetti come out, instead the muffin basket explodes in front of Lubert, causing him to jerk back to the floor. making the whole lobby a huge mess. And Lubert is quickly hospitalized. And the gang tries to take care of him, but the only person who is willing to help Lubert in a much easier manner is Mrs. Benson. So she takes over, and Carly and Sam may warn Freddy that his mom is in love with Lubert. And much to Freddy's dismay, he finds that this is, believe it or not, true. They devise a plan to break up their romantic relationship by having Freddy fake an injury so Mrs. Benson would pay attention to her injured son rather than her relationship with Lubert. Meanwhile, Spencer has found a nemesis of his own, Chuck, who he meets when Chuck goes down to the lobby and plays racquetball. And Spencer tries to get Chuck to stop, but he won't listen. Then eventually Chuck's father comes down, and Spencer tells him everything of what Chuck has been doing, Chuck gets grounded for 2 days. And Spencer is in the meantime filling in for Lubert as the doorman. During his shift, he discovers an old CB radio that he uses to talk to truck drivers. And he upsets 2 specific drivers named Porkchop and Sledgehammer. And Chuck, looking for revenge, gives the truckers his location through the radio while Spencer leaves his desk. And the truckers arrive just as Lubert takes his job back, and they beat him up, mistakenly assuming he is Spencer. Alright, here's another one. I Go to Japan. This was the first iCarly movie. The trio learned that they have been nominated for an iWeb Award and win tickets to attend the award ceremony in Tokyo. Spencer then trades the 3 first-class tickets for 5 coach tickets when Mrs. Benson refuses to let Freddy go without her. Suck it up, Mrs. Benson. And the five ladder parachute into Japan out of an unsanitary possum-filled cargo plane after the pilot literally makes them fly over Japan. Soon, a police officer takes them to their hotel after they land in a barren field. At the hotel, they are visited by Kyoko and Yuki, who are fellow competitors for the same award. Kyoko and Yuki give Spencer and Mrs. Benson tickets to the hotel spa to get seaweed massages by their cousins, while they take Carly, Sam, and Freddy shopping. But at one point, Yuki forgets to take the right turn, and they soon get lost. After confessing they are lost, Kyoko and Yuki pretend to get angry at each other and stage a kung fu fight on the sidewalk. They then strand the trio in the middle of nowhere after giving a phony excuse to leave. While Spencer breaks himself and Mrs. Benson free from being wrapped in that sticky seaweed after being abandoned by the cousins, Mrs. Benson starts to use a locator chip that she implanted into Freddy's head. Okay, that is a idiot move, Mrs. Benson, and that just proves that you are overly protective of Freddy. Least you can do is get that chip out of his head. Because if Freddy finds out about that, you are dead meat, Mrs. Benson. But Mrs. Benson and Spencer take a cab to find the lost trio, and they eventually reunite. And they make it to the ceremony, but are apprehended by the Japanese security, who apprehend them and take them to the utility room underneath the control booth. Freddy, being the genius that he is, wires his video camera into the main screen, while Carly and Sam try to explain to the security officers what happened by acting, since the guards cannot speak English and the girls cannot speak Japanese. Since Freddy hooked up the camera to the big screen, the audience can see their silly acting. Thanks to Freddy, iCarly wins the award show due to their performance. Kyoko and Yuki are arrested for kidnapping, and the iCarly gang return to America on a fishing boat, having refused to go back on the cargo plane. Alright, let's see, what else do we have? Ooh, I Kiss. To get back at Sam for pulling a prank on him at school by putting a dead fish in his locker, Freddy pulls a prank on her by handcuffing her to their wacky friend Gibby. After which, an incensed Sam vows revenge. Later, when the girls come home from the lame movie The First Kiss, this causes a discussion of who was their first kiss. A while later, Sam overhears Freddy privately inform Carly that he has never had his first real kiss. So to get back at Freddy, Sam blurts out his secret on iCarly in front of everybody, not realizing how horribly this would make him feel. The next day at school, Freddy gets teased by a teacher, several classmates, iCarly fans, and even little girls. So he skips school for the entire week, misses 2 rehearsals, and refuses to show up for the next webcast. Much to Sam's surprise, Sam gets a stern confrontation from Carly about what she had done wrong, and that she had ruined Freddy's life without even caring. Like that even bothers Sam, because Sam had always been mean to Freddy. But she soon feels guilty about what she had done, and a remorseful Sam reveals to the web on iCarly that what she did was wrong, and that she has also never kissed anyone either. Sam then arrives at Freddy's fire escape balcony and apologizes to him in person for ruining everything. And Freddy is deeply touched by what Sam did to help him. They also discuss their mutual frustrations of not having a first kiss and their urge to get it over with. As a result, they privately kiss each other, but they promise to not tell anyone. Meanwhile, Spencer has been trying to be a professional football player, so Carly aggressively trains Spencer and later sends Gibby to work out with him. But Spencer, after the harsh training, decides that he does not want to be a football player anymore. Ooh, here's a good one. I Meet Fred. When Freddy offends an international internet sensation named Fred, a lot of you guys might know who this is, and tells the whole world that he does not think his Fred videos are very funny. Fred tells all of his fans that he will not make any more videos because of what Freddy did. Carly, Sam, and Freddy soon start losing friends and acquaintances and iCarly fans that are fans of Fred. And everybody at Ridgeway Junior High begins to hate the iCarly group by booing and throwing stuff at them. It almost causes Sam to twist Freddy's arm in anger. Everyone even begins abusing Freddy in many painful ways, and he unfairly gets kicked out of his clubs. Before they got home, his Aunt Jennifer called him on the phone talking to him about what he did. A Fred fan created a website called NeverWatchICarly.com that gets viewers to stop watching iCarly, and reporters barged into Carly's apartment and started criticizing them by interviewing them about the incident. Soon they decide to work this out, so they meet the man himself, Lucas, who is Fred's creator and portrayer, in his home in Shelby, Idaho, for Fred to apologize to him about the Fred video's comments and give his opinion. At first, Freddy retaliates against it, but when Sam takes him in the back and beats him up with a tennis racket, Freddy changes his mind and apologizes sincerely. But Lucas later apologizes because he was not really mad. It was just a publicity stunt meant to increase Fred and iCarly's ratings. At the end, they apologize live during the iCarly web show and present a new Fred video with Sam, Freddy, and Spencer guest starring as themselves with high-pitched voices like Fred does, except Carly's voice. Elsewhere, Spencer puts a magic 8-ball-like toy that was called a magic meatball to control his life, with disastrous results such as drinking ketchup and buying a live ostrich. So it was cool getting to see Fred on here. The man himself, Lucas Crookshank, is a really cool guy. Alright, let's see what else we have here. Let's see. Ooh. I Take on Dingo. After an episode of iCarly, a few girls at school will tell Carly, Sam, and Freddy about a show on the Dingo Channel, which is, believe it or not, a parody of the Disney Channel. They mentioned this show called Totally Terry that has been using stuff from iCarly, such as random dancing. In an episode, they call it random jumping, which may sound different if you ask me, but it's almost the same thing as random dancing. So, while her little brother was watching it, Carly, Sam, and Freddy find out that they even spoofed Messin' with Lubert, calling it Messin' with Rupert. Spencer and the iCarly team eventually go to Hollywood and seek out Dingo Studios to settle the issue, staying in a very low-quality seedy motel that Sam's mom recommended. They storm Dingo Studios, and Carly and Sam confront the Totally Terry writers, who confess that they are plagiarizing iCarly skits to use for their show. They claim that they have rights to do so since they have lawyers, money, and power. Meanwhile, Spencer and Freddy find Charles Dingo's rumored frozen head. That was a parody, believe it or not, of an urban legend surrounding Walt Disney being cryogenically frozen after his death. And they come up with a plan. The next day, the iCarly group threatens to release depictions of Dingo's frozen head on iCarly.com unless the writers swear to not steal the show's ideas again. The writers swear on camera that they will never do it again, but Sam makes two of the writers wear bikini tops and fight with dog food on the show as revenge for stealing their ideas. Okay. Here comes twins. So Carly and Sam assume that Freddy is gullible after they trick him into coming to school dressed as a clown. Sam later gets annoyed when her twin sister Melanie comes home for 3 days, believing it is just another of Sam and Carly's pranks to show how gullible he is. Freddy does not believe that Sam has a twin sister, so he invites Melanie to a dance with him as his date. The plan to prove Melanie is really Sam takes an unexpected turn when Melanie kisses Freddy, who then becomes extremely paranoid. Since Freddy refuses to believe it, Sam admits to Freddy that there is no Melanie. Satisfied? Freddy leaves right before Melanie arrives to go to the mall with Sam, and Carly proves Freddy wrong. Elsewhere, Carly has been tutoring Spencer's nemesis, Chuck, in math, and Spencer tries to prove to Carly how evil Chuck really is. After several failed attempts, he sets up a secret webcam which captures Chuck repeatedly slapping Spencer in the face while Carly was not in the room. Angered by Chuck's deception, Carly gets revenge on Chuck by telling him that there is a new number called DERF between 5 and 6. And because of this, Chuck fails his math test. Although Chuck blames Carly, his dad doesn't. Spencer gives Chuck's dad a brochure about a summer math camp he attended as a kid called Camp Atom Up, sending Chuck to math camp for the whole summer. That was a good one. All right, bring on season 3. Okay, let's see what we have in here. Try not to make this too long, because I don't want this too long of a video. Who gives a crap? Ooh, I quit iCarly. So in this, Freddie gets an email from 2 kids who run the Flack and Dave show, who request that Carly and Sam have helped them make a video for a website contest. After agreeing to help, Carly and Sam discovered that Fleck and Dave fight a lot, and the two end their relationship when Fleck paints Dave's dad's car purple for a sketch. Carly and Sam try to talk to them, but Carly finds that she can relate to Dave's frustrations and Sam to Fleck's arguments of Dave shooting down good yet dangerous ideas. Carly and Sam end their friendship soon afterwards, since neither want to be near the other. Freddie sets up dual location webcasting on iCarly. However, due to technical difficulties, Carly and Sam declare iCarly is over for good and shut down the web show. Carly and Dave try to do a video, as well as Flack and Sam. They both try to do videos for the contest with Freddie, but end up at the same place at the same time. During the argument, Sam and then Carly climb outside onto the window washers platform without a harness, a stunt which nearly cost them their lives when a cable breaks and Carly hangs off the side of the platform. Elsewhere, Spencer wins a boat in a contest, and he and Gibby try to make it fun in the parking lot, since docking at the Seattle pier is too expensive. However, a jerk who lives in the building wants their spot, so he and his baseball team, the Pirates, take over the boat, and Spencer and Gibby take it back with a slingshot and watermelons. After winning, Spencer uses his scope and spies Carly hanging off the platform. Panicked, Spencer races up to the rope and Sam rescues Carly. When Spencer tosses down the rope out the window and accidentally hits Sam in the head, she almost falls, and Carly rescues her, and they tie the rope around themselves. And Spencer, Freddie, Fleck, and Dave pull them up. Spencer turns them towards each other when Carly and Sam start crying, and they finally reconcile, as do Fleck and Dave. In the end, the four together make a trailer to a non-existent film called The Blowing, starring Carly, Sam, Freddie, Dave, Fleck, and Gibby. Okay, what's another one? Ooh, Psycho. So Carly, Sam, and Freddie try to cheer up a lonely fan named Nora Dershlet on her 16th birthday. Nora's parents abandon her on her birthday. She has no guests at all, and shortly after the iCarly trio arrives, an 87-year-old clamp on that Nora had invited to the party, he ends up having an aneurysm and is immediately hospitalized and quite possibly died. And Sam actually acts incredibly obnoxious. Carly and Freddie decide to do a special iCarly webcast to show people from Nora's school that they are at the party. And a lot of people show up, apparently. Nora is happy about her sudden popularity. When the people show up and the party is over, she traps Carly, Sam, and Freddie in a basement, thinking that they were angels sent to her to change her life, and is worried that she will go back to being a nobody once they leave. To make sure that no one knows what had happened to them, she cancels their appearance at WebCon and texts their respective families that everything is going fine. After a few failed attempts to escape, Carly gets an idea to make a coded SOS message for Gibby with the hint every fourth word. The decoded message then says, "The crazy girl trapped us. Please save us." Elsewhere, Gibby, however, is doing home repairs with Spencer in exchange for setting up a camp in the loft. When he gets the message and manages to decode it, Gibby, along with his younger brother Guppy, leave to rescue them. When Nora recognizes Gibby from ICarly and refuses to let him in, he breaks down the door and starts fighting with her. Nora and Gibby are evenly matched, but luckily Guppy finds Nora's keys and releases Carly, Sam, and Freddie. Sam uses the Vulcan nerve pin, a reference to Star Trek, on Nora, which knocks her out, and the ICarly trio call the police, and Nora goes to juvie. While Carly sympathizes for her, Sam says that at least she'll make friends in prison. The episode ends with Carly, Sam, Freddie, Spencer, Gibby, and Guppy all singing 100 cartons of milk on the wall around a campfire, which they ironically learned from Nora. Alright, and let's see what we have in season 4. Alright, let's see what we have. Okay, I get pranky. So after showing their viewers on ICarly a bloody pickle prank video that leads to talking of pranks, Sam and Freddie have pulled great pranks, except Carly causing Sam and Freddie to tell her that knock-knock jokes and pranking Luber do not count. Make fun of her for forcing to prank someone. After a few unsuccessful attempts, Carly asks Spencer to help her prank Freddie and Sam. Although reluctant due to a traumatic pranking experience in high school 14 years earlier, which involved dumping garlic powder on many kids' eyes, he was hoping that would make their heads smell funny, but instead it burned these kids' eyes and made it feel like they got 10 pounds of pepper spray. Spencer eventually agrees to help out, though the prank goes off without a hitch. Spencer cannot stop pranking people afterwards, to everyone's annoyance, and Carly, Sam, and Freddie fail to outsmart him with a prank of their own. In the end, Carly gets the kids from Spencer's high school to come to their house to convince him to stop pranking. Carly goes upstairs to get her video camera to record the events, but by the time she gets down there, the adult kids beat up Spencer as revenge and rush out when Carly catches them. Spencer then admits that he understands how bad pranking can be. Alright, let's see. What else do we have? Ooh, I pity the Neville. This was an absolutely insane episode. The worst I've seen of Neville. So Neville was caught on film when he was at the store getting some bread and butter pickles. But then this young girl bumps into him and causes him to drop up the last jar of pickles that he wanted. In return, he starts yelling at this little girl, breaks her lollipop, and just makes her cry on film. It goes viral, and Neville is ruined. Like, he is hated by everyone. So he goes to the ICarly gang for help in restoring his reputation. The iCarly gang helped Neville by posting a video of him selling smoothies to customers and creamed corn at the Groovy Smoothie. The attempt fails to restore his reputation as people are sending death threats his way. One person saying that he wants to back over him with his pickup truck, and so many awful things. Neville then chooses to sincerely apologize on iCarly to the little girl that he yelled at, who surprises Neville by appearing on the webcast thanks to Carly and Sam, and accepting his apology. This succeeds in gaining his public sympathy, and Neville is no longer hated. That is until he is caught on video losing his temper with a man in a wheelchair who bumped into him. And this soon brings back everyone hating him, because someone filmed it just nearby. Oh, here's a good one. This is the crossover. iParty with Victorious. So Carly is in a brand new relationship with a boy named Steven. Sam goes online to the slap.com and sees Steven with another girl by the name of Tori Vega, who you might know from Victorious, and tries to inform Carly that Steven might be cheating on her, but Carly refuses to believe that unless she has the proof, saying everyone is innocent until proven cheating. The group, including Gibby, decide to drive down to Los Angeles and crash a party at Kenan Thompson's house that Andre, who is one of Tori's friends, is holding via a public invite posted by Rex. The puppet that is held by Robbie Shapiro, who's another one of Tori's friends, to find out if Steven is really cheating on Carly. But before they arrive at the party, they get professional disguises for the party in case anyone recognizes the iCarly gang, which would cause major distractions. They stop at the house of Moni, who is one of Spencer's past girlfriends and is also a celebrity makeup artist. Moni, though still angry at Spencer for backing a car over her, transforms them into different looking people. When many people show up to the party and begin to party recklessly thanks to Rex's post, Andre tries to get some people to calm down and or leave, as he thought there were only supposed to be a few people at this party, though failing while getting chased by a mysterious man in a panda suit. Kenan soon arrives and is surprisingly cool with the party, claiming that there are not enough people at the party. However, he is annoyed at the panda who has stalked him for years and agrees to help Andre chase him off his property. Carly soon catches Steven with Tori, and she sees him give Tori the same exact charm bracelet that he gave Carly, and telling her it's one of a kind, just like you, which he also had told Carly at the beginning of the episode. Tori then tells Steven that she loves him, and Steven says, "I love you too," making Carly devastated, and the two kiss. Tori finds Carly and her friends at the party, now in their normal looks, where Carly reveals that Steven is cheating with both of them. Carly and Tori, together with Sam, Freddie, and Kenan, come together with a plan to expose Steven's bad nature live on iCarly in front of a million people in a small closet. where Tori and Steven originally planned to have their 100-day kiss. Steven angrily leaves the closet while the iCarly gang party inside. The whole time this is happening, other events occur, including Spencer with Jade and Beck, friends of Tori, and one of Tori's teachers, Mr. Sikowitz, having an awkward encounter in a hot tub. Trina, Tori's sister, having trouble babysitting two younger children and for a friend while attending the party. And Rex having a freestyle rap battle with random people in the audience, though eventually getting beaten by Sam. The episode then closes with the cast of the two shows singing a mashup of their theme songs, Leave It All to Shine. Alright, let's get into Season 5. Let's see what we got here. There's not too many on this one, but I think I may have a few. Okay, I think I only have one in Season 5. I Still Psycho. So, the iCarly crew are invited to Nora Dershowitz' parole hearing. They decide to advocate for her release from prison after seeing how her situation is affecting her parents. Nora and her parents invite the iCarlys to their house for dinner. However, when Spencer comes to retrieve them, the family locks him and the others in their house and refuses to let them leave, repeating the last time they ever saw Nora. Meanwhile, Tiba, the main employee at the Groovy Smoothie, gets evicted from the Benson's apartment after Mrs. Benson discovers his true personality. Carly and Sam use Spencer's shock pen to short-circuit Freddy's head computer chip, giving Mrs. Benson an emergency notification. Mrs. Benson and Tebow rush to Nora's house to rescue them, leading to the arrest of Nora and her parents. Grateful for his help in rescuing Freddy, Mrs. Benson decides to let Tebow stay with them permanently. At the end of this episode, Carly wakes up in the middle of the night realizing that they had forgotten about Gibby, who was stuck in the Dershowitz chimney. Alright, that's all I had for Season 6. But let's get into the last season, Season 6. Alright, let's see what we have. Okay, I definitely have a few here. We're going to start with I Go One Direction. After returning from a vacation, Carly falls ill with jungle worms, but feels better after 2 days. Although she is still contagious, later Freddy tells Sam, Carly, and Gibby that they have received an email from the manager of the boy band One Direction, whom Gibby appears to be a massive fan of, saying that they are in the Seattle area and would like to perform a song on iCarly. When they arrive, One Direction performs their hit song What Makes You Beautiful in the iCarly studio. Afterwards, Sam takes a liking to Zayn Malik, while Gibby tells Niall Horan and Louis Tomlinson that he gives good foot massages. After Harry Styles drinks from Carly's water bottle, unaware that she was contagious with the jungle worms, Harry Styles gets the same fate, and he experiences what jungle worms feels like. And then she takes care of Harry, and he is still in bed after a week. Much longer than Carly was sick for making Sam believe that Harry is not actually sick anymore and just wants the attention. And Liam Payne announces that the boys will have to cancel their shows in San Francisco if Harry is not better soon. So Liam, Zahn, Niall, and Lewis discuss with Carly, Sam, and Freddie what to do to try and get Harry out of bed. Freddie says that Harry might feel better if he thought that he was being kicked out of One Direction and being replaced by Gibby. And when he sees Gibby performing with Liam, Niall, Lewis, and Zahn, Harry is shocked by how bad Gibby is at singing and dancing, and says that he's feeling better, meaning that he was faking it. The episode ends with One Direction performing What Makes You Beautiful on iCarly. After the song, Sam grabs Zahn by the neck and drags him into the elevator. Let's see, what else do we have? Ooh, I battle Chip. So after Chuck and some of his 8th grade friends pull a prank on Spencer by jumping him and stealing his clothes, Spencer calls the cops on Chuck and finally gets rid of him by getting him sent to military school. However, this causes his little brother Chip to hate Spencer and terrorize him more than Chuck ever did. Elsewhere, Gibby buys a Galaxy Wars toy phaser and becomes depressed when Sam accidentally breaks it while beating up a bully for Larvin at the Groovy Smoothie. Freddy fixes it, but also modifies it into an actually working heat laser gun. During an iCarly webcast while they are trying to have peace and quiet without Chuck and Chip causing trouble, Chip starts to antagonize everyone with loud music, making it impossible for them to continue, and threaten to mess with Carly. Downstairs, they find Spencer, who has been tied up by Chip. Gibby sets his phaser on overload, causing it to overheat before it explodes. Spencer throws it down the hallway where Chip is preparing a hot tub of super glue for another prank. The exploding phaser blows up the tub and Chip gets thrown back by the elevator and glued to the elevator doors. When Spencer and the others go to check what happened and find him, Carly says that they cannot leave Chip like this. Spencer agrees, but instead sprays cream on his butt before everyone leaves. Gibby tries to salvage his phaser, but Freddy confirms it has gone beyond repair. Okay, here's I Shock America. So, iCarly is invited to New York to appear on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. After Carly dedicates a web show to him, parodying his skits in response to Jimmy complimenting iCarly on his show, Gibby mistakenly buys pants, which caused a few problems during the show. But the real trouble started when the gang started dancing. And Gibby's pants fell down, causing an indecent exposure on camera, as he was not wearing underwear at the time. This incident prompts the NCC to show up, and people blame Fallon for the incident by saying he deliberately wanted Gibby's pants to fall. Carly and his friends are devastated, and they're upset with Gibby after what happened, and they start to just belligerently abuse him. Saying it was their fault and not Fallon's, the NCC forces them to pay $500,000 or they will shut down iCarly. So Fallon blogs asking America for their spare change to help get the iCarly gang to get the money. At the end of the episode, Fallon invites the gang back on the show and shows them a big pile of money totaling $576,000.94, which is more than enough to pay the fine. All right, what else do we have? All right, I bust a thief. After a webcast, Sam notices her laptop is missing. Freddy remotely activates the webcam with the laptop's serial number and sees an old lady in front of it. After watching her for 11 hours, they figure out where she lives and go to her apartment, breaking down the door. However, once there, they find out that Sam gave them a wrong serial number and now think that Sam's laptop is gone forever. When they get home, Sam goes into the fridge to get food and finds her laptop in a pizza carton, surprisingly. She leaves and takes the carton with her without telling anyone. Meanwhile, Spencer finds his old lunchbox filled with Funky Fester's tickets, which is his favorite arcade. He collected all those tickets when he was 10 years old to win a plush dolphin. After he misplaced it, however, when he gets there, he finds out that those tickets are worthless since the arcade switched to the electronic points. Since adults are not allowed to enter without a child, he takes Guppy with him to get in. After spending the entire day at the arcade, he manages to get the 1,000 points he needs just before it closes, and he manages to win the dolphin. All right. Before I end this, I want to talk about some of their longer episodes. You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to talk about about their longer episodes. I already mentioned a few of them. All right. Thank you for watching.